I mean, end of story, case closed, but no, people, they can't handle it. Oh, she looks different. So what? If she's blue, does she have to compete against the Smurfs? Coach Greg, and controversy in bodybuilding, I mean, isn't that always the case? And so what we have here is a bodybuilder with a beard competing against other women. So everyone's thinking, how can he identify as a woman and compete against other women? This isn't fair. I mean, if you're born a man, you have all these advantages, and so it's not fair. It's a woman. She was born a she. Does anyone remember some of the side effects of using steroids? Maybe one of them was growing facial hair. Now, another thing that it does clearly is it puts on a heck of a lot of muscle. And so Mariana Gayara, she competed as an IFBB pro in women's physique, and she looks amazing, but everyone is losing their shit because she looks like a man. Last I checked, if you're a woman, you can compete against other women. I don't care what you look like. If you have a beard, if you have higher levels of testosterone, you're still a woman. And in bodybuilding, everyone has higher levels of testosterone. It's kind of the way that it works. You all think that IFBB pros are 100% natural. And so this is the results. And so prior to this, she used to shave. She had smooth skin, and she looked a lot more feminine. Look back to some of her photos from 5 years ago, and although she's still freaking jacked, she looked a bit younger, perhaps a bit softer, a little bit more feminine. But since that time, she's like, Kirk, I'm gonna wear a beard. Now, this Colombian is married to a hot-looking woman. If she decided, you know what, I like girls. I'm a girl, but I like girls, and I'd rather present myself as a man. You know, I like to dress up, perhaps more masculine. I like to have a beard. Then what is wrong with that? I see nothing. If a girl wants to dress up as a man, have a beard, I'm all for it. If a man wants to dress up as a woman, I'm also all for it. Dress up the way that you want. Now, here's where I personally draw the line. If a man wants to dress up as a woman, cool. But if that man wants to dress up as a woman and enter an MMA competition or as a boxer go against other females, I'm not cool with it. It would be one thing if this was a man competing against women. That would give her an unfair genetic advantage. You have extra testosterone as a child. You're going to grow stronger bones, larger bones, perhaps grow taller. And so it isn't fair. But if you're born a woman and eventually you take performance-enhancing drugs, namely steroids, testosterone, tren, you name it, and you then compete against other women in bodybuilding, well, that is 100% fair. The other women you're competing against, they're on test, Anavar, and so on. The only difference is that she grew out her beard. And so for people to come out and shit on this girl, well, how dare you? How is it your prerogative? And so although she does still look masculine, she looks a lot more feminine back here than she does right now. Notice the beard is gone, but she still has so much muscle. It's absolutely crazy. It looks very much like a man. I mean, from the neck up, all I see is a man. Full-on beard, growing more facial hair than I have. But from the neck down, well, it also looks like a man. I mean, I just gotta be honest. But a jacked guy or a jacked female that has lost a lot of the breast tissue, but I mean, hey, she's got single-digit body fat, she's shredded, and so she's not going to have the breast tissue development that other women would have. Everything else is female. She's a woman. She's just a woman on trend. But have you guys not all heard of PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome? Some women are born women and they literally have a beard. They're not men, they're not XY chromosome, but yet they still have that beard. That is what God gave them, a beard. And so let's say you were born a woman, PCOS, and you have a beard. Should you then be outcast from society because you have something that only men typically have, which is a beard? Or remember, 1 in a million are literally going to be born female and have a beard. And so if that woman wants to compete in a bodybuilding competition, It's their own prerogative. And so for people to say, you can't compete, it's not fair, or look at this comment. If it looks like a man should go to a man category. If I put on enough makeup and I look feminine enough, I should then go and compete against other women? Should I then go pee in the women's stall? Think of how unfair that is. It's already unfair that you're born a woman and you have a beard. But because you have this beard, you now have to compete against other men throughout your entire lifetime? That's ridiculous. Do you remember what happened with the boxer in the Olympics? Women in women's categories and men in men's categories. In the end, Mariana is competing with other women as her. I mean, end of story. Case closed. But no, people, they can't handle it. Oh, she looks different. So what? If she's blue, does she have to compete against the Smurfs? Who cares about the fact that she has a beard? What's next? She shaves her head. She can't compete in women's bodybuilding because women, on average, they don't go bald and men do. Oh, you grew up and you're only 4'4". You have to compete against children because you're not tall enough to be a man. This is ridiculous. She is biologically a woman, so she must compete like a woman. Boom. Perfect answer. Cuando la gente habla de ti es porque lo estás haciendo bien. Admiración y respeto.
I don't speak Spanish.
When people are talking about you, you're doing something right. Admiration is respect. People are talking about her. She's done her job. You know, as an IFBB pro, how are you going to stand out? She's clearly standing out. Many people have reached out to me saying you need to do a video on this person. How could she compete? Some perhaps in support of her, some definitely against her. And I've seen a lot of people covering this topic. I feel like if she were born a man and were competing against other women, it would kind of be like in South Park when Macho Man Randy Savage, he competed in a strong woman competition and it simply wasn't fair and had the deep voice and the beard and everything. It was like, come on. But this is a woman competing against other women, and we know the side effects of using steroids. I don't care if she identifies as a man right now. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. She can still compete against other women. She was born a woman. Now, if it was a man identifying as a female and wanted to compete against other women, that wouldn't be fair. And so, hey, if you're a man and you take female hormones and it makes you smaller, you don't get to compete in women's physique. You were born a man. You would then have to compete against other men. I don't care if you have breast implants. You get up on stage, breast implants and all, and you compete against other men. This is how it's fair. But if you're a woman and you use steroids, these are the side effects. You're seeing a glimpse into your future. Now, granted, she probably uses way higher doses than most of you, but if you use performance-enhancing drugs, you're watching this video right now and your coach is saying, oh, just a little bit of trend, we'll use it safely, we'll stop taking it before any side effects happen. As soon as you inject it, you're getting some side effects. You may not see them, you may not feel them, but they're happening. It's just as disgraceful as the case of the boxer who competed against women. A man wants to be recognized as a woman and competes against women. Yet when a woman wants to live as a man, she doesn't compete against men, but stays in the woman's category. This is nothing but fraud. Such people, in my view, are nothing more than pitiful and sad. Why, though? I mean, I hear what you're saying, but with a man competing against a woman in boxing, they have genetic advantages, that being they were born a man. They're stronger, bigger, have stronger bones, and can hurt the other person. In bodybuilding, she's born a woman. She's literally at a disadvantage in comparison to being born a man. When you're born a man, you have testosterone and so on. It's giving you an advantage. And even if she wins the competition by a mile, she's not hurting anyone. She's not punching them. She can't do them any damage. All she can do is flex bigger biceps than last time. Hey, I have bigger biceps. She was born a woman. She looked the same as everyone at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. She looked every bit female. And so the difference is she used steroids. Now, if she were in a drug-tested bodybuilding competition and looked like this, and she looked like this knowing she used test, trend, GH, other hormones, well, obviously that isn't fair. She's now given male hormones to give her an advantage to compete against other women. All the other women can do the same. And so it's not a drug-tested event. And so, my opinion, it's perfectly okay. Now, to this man who wrote this, hey, it's a fair comment. You have the right to believe what you want to believe. I'm just giving you up an argument back. And so what if she had shaved off her beard? Now, I'm not a medical expert, but she's put on her salmon sperm and she's put on her lipstick and her eyelash things and she's dotted in and used the tattoo filter stuff to put in some eyebrows and she's got the wig in, the ponytail extensions, and she's got the base coat of, what's it called? And she's got the base coat of the concealer and she's rubbed it all in and finished it off with some Pro Tan. And she's got the whitening teeth guards and she now looks feminine. You know, she's got the lip filler, so she comes out like this and she walks as sexy. Is it okay then? Because that's what most women are doing who are abusing performance-enhancing drugs. Did you know that? Most women who are using steroids to this extent are starting to go bald. They're losing their hair. They're getting all the fillers in the world and they're painting themselves so that they look like a female. It's paint job, you know, pintura.
Que tú hablas español.
In the bodybuilding scene, an estimated 90% find this ridiculous and repulsive. What part? The part where women abuse steroids to the extent that they turn into men? The part where people are posing on stage as women looking like men? What part? Ridiculous, impulsive. Is it the bodybuilders themselves or the fans? Because bodybuilders, they're all doing it. I believe it's the opposite. Maybe 10% think it's repulsive and 90% are all for it. I mean, when you enter a women's bodybuilding competition, you expect them to be on steroids. You expect them to have a deeper voice. You expect the downstairs to actually be growing to perhaps 1 or 2 inches. You expect it because that's the side effects of using steroids. And so don't you think that at least some of these women actually want to be presented as men? Hey, they're transitioned. But should they not be allowed to compete as women? If you're a woman and you want to become a man, well, step one, I would say, is to go on testosterone. It's going to slowly transition you to that of a man. And by slowly, I mean very quickly. Should she then compete as a man? And so should we then add a new category? Any women who uses steroids, they compete in the trans category? Well, what if you're just a woman who takes Anavar? Where do you draw the line? If you still look hot as a female, aka men still want to have sexy time with you, then you get to compete against women. But if you take it too far and you start to go bald and your voice gets too deep, then you have to compete against other men. Where do we draw this line? Seems kind of ridiculous because in the sport of bodybuilding, it's accepted that you can use performance-enhancing drugs and that they're going to have side effects, but yet people still do it. Only a few dare to say it openly. Many will outwardly praise it with, "Oh, so beautiful, so wonderful," while inwardly shaking their heads or feeling disgusted. Yeah, I think he's right. I think most people lie. They tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. But what about me? Do you really think I'm one of those people? I tell you exactly what I think. I don't care if you hate me, you love me, you write bullshit comments, whatever. Do what you want. But I'm telling you what I actually think. I think that it's okay for her to compete with a beard if she wants to. She's not breaking any rules. She's not breaking any laws. And so what? The only difference between her and the other women is she shaves her beard. And so she's saying, look, I want to be a man, but I'm going to compete against these women, and so what? What if she competed in men's bodybuilding? Hey, you wanted it. Hey, she looks like a man. She's going to compete with other men. Okay. And she then enters the competition, and she does the front double bicep, and you see, hey, wait a minute. Is that gyno, or does she not have a little bit too much fullness in the nips? A little bit too much. You want a woman who, granted, she does want to be a man, but you want that woman to compete against other men, topless, in that competition. Because last I checked, whenever I entered bodybuilding competitions, I'm only wearing Speedos. And so I'm going to stand next to a woman competing next to me whose nips are a little bit too suspicious. And I'm thinking, you know what? Is this a woman? I think this is a woman who just took a lot of steroids. What do you think of that? And so she's clearly living her life as a man. But if you live your life as a man, does that mean you have to compete against other men if you were born a woman? But let's say a man lives his life as a woman. Should that man be then allowed to go and beat up other women in a boxing ring? And so if you're a female and you don't want to turn into a man, or if you're a man and you don't want to use performance-enhancing drugs, you know what to use. Turk Builder Max, Turk Platinum, to build more muscle, to recover faster than last time, give you more energy. It makes a significant difference. It's far better than creatine. Remember, Remember, it's Ajuga turkistanica. Many companies are pretending to sell Ajuga. It's actually cyanosis. We have the receipts. We're doing studies on this at the moment. And so, guys, if you don't want to get ripped off, you don't want to get scammed, you want to buy it from HTLT Supplements. And for those of you who think it's still a scam, oh, I don't believe it works. It's a money-back guarantee and a $20 gift card. And even better, if you've been scammed previously by, for example, Turkplex, these other companies that pretend to sell Ajuga and it's not, and we have the receipts, and that's why they're not suing us, because we would win in court, it would make for great videos. Well, you just show us proof that you bought it, like you basically take a screenshot, whatever, send it, and then we're going to give it you half price. So your first time, because you got ripped off the first time and you're thinking, oh, it doesn't work. Well, yeah, because you used the rip-off stuff. Of course, you're not going to feel it the way you will with us. And so you send it to us, you get it for half price. It's amazing. Don't forget, code Greg, 15% off. And of course, you all know by now, AlgoRx is where you want to go to get all your blood work needs, your prescription medications that a doctor can sign off and give you a prescription. It only takes a couple of minutes. About half price of companies like Merrick Health. And so if you're interested, of course, click the link in the description. For that one, you get code Greg for 10% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to go to Momentous Clothing. Clearly, I need to get some Momentous clothes somehow. I'm topless in another video. Don't forget to watch one of those two bloops. And of course, you can get Cookbook 3.1, the Circle Diet Book, the training books, all the various supplements, the Seco bars for code Seco for 50% off. And until next time, I am out.